I asked for recommendations for albums from my friends and YouTube commenters, and today I'm gonna find out if they're any good. Now when I say that, I mean if they're good in my opinion, of course. All of these albums are good to someone. I also want to point out that all of these albums are what I would say are out of my comfort zone. I don't think I would ever get into these albums without people recommending them to me. We've got everything from emo rap, glitch pop, to traditional Russian folk in this one. Let's get into it. Thanks to Disguised Ostrich for my comments for this recommendation. I know your first was Whole Lotta Red, but this is such a meme album that I have to figure out how I'm going to present it in a video, and it isn't this one. So, 21 Pilots. Their album Blurry Face brought them into the mainstream, and I have to say the songs I've heard off there are mid. I think the instrumentals are boring, and Tyler Joseph's vocals are annoying. The lyrics, they're just not good to me. Even though this album is highly rated, I went into it knowing that 21 Pilots has made some music I'm not a fan of in the past. Trench is a big improvement. They've kept a lot of their themes from stuff like Stressed Out, but there's more nuance to their artistic expression. Plus, they've branched out their sound to something that's unique and actually pretty fun. They merge some different genres. I think what I define this as modern alternative rock. Alternative is now all-encompassing in a pretty stupid label, but for me, this is what I think of when I think of alternative rock. It's pretty decent alternative rock, but one problem still remains that's holding me back from enjoyment of this album. Tyler's vocals. I don't know how to explain it, but when he tries to rap or talk fast, I don't know if he's even rapping, it just doesn't work for me. He does a lot of singing here, and a lot of it is different from what he used to do, and it sounds good, but he does return to that freaking voice. There's some songs that I really like, but at a certain point, Tyler's voice just becomes exhausting. I'd say that this is a good album, especially considering where the band was before, but it's just, I can't get past it. Vocals are a huge part of an album. Like, most of the time we're spending with Tyler. And while a lot of it does sound great, for me personally, I just dislike his voice in many situations. I would still recommend checking this out. It's a good project if you want rock that's actually trying to be different. Just know it's going to sound like the guy from Stressed Out. This hurts for me, but I have to give this a 2. Thank you for the recommendation. Even if I didn't care for it too much, I greatly appreciate it. Please recommend me more stuff, everyone. The last thing I'd want is for people to be discouraged or worried that I won't like them, so recommend them either way. So you have to understand, for the most part, I don't like harsh or loud music. There's been a few projects that have been able to be loud to me, but for the most part, stuff that's like metal or industrial has just never appealed to me. Another thing that's never appealed to me is emo. All of the voices of guys sound the same, and they're always saying, "Oh, my girl left me and I ate everything." It's cringe. So why do I love Hypochondriac, a glitch pop emo rap crossover? Thanks for Kroos. I don't know how that name is pronounced for this recommendation, by the way. I had to get to the bottom of what makes this LP good for me. It comes down to brakences, I think that's how it is, vocals, which do have that signature emo sound. It ended up growing on me. I did not like his voice at first, and similar to Trench, I had a hard time getting past it, but unlike Trench, the vocals actually got to me. I think it's just that it works with the instrumentals more than on Trench, which I should probably talk about the instrumentals now too. It's glitch pop. For those who don't know, it's basically what it sounds like. It takes the conventions of what we know as pop and fills it with computer glitch noises and effects. It's so weird, but it has texture, and I don't know, it just ends up working. Brakence also has some normal like guitar parts, I don't know how to put it, which also sound great. Their production is avant-garde, at least compared to everything I've heard. For me, I've never really cared how experimental something is if, in my opinion, it doesn't sound good. Like, I can appreciate experimental or innovative sound, but if the sound hurts my ears, I'm not gonna give it a good score. For this, the sound is bizarre and still sounds good. I think keeping it under the pop format works in his favor. It's not completely out there because there's still some structure holding it in place. So what ended up happening with Hypochondriac is that instead of it losing steam with its sound through the progression of it, my enjoyment only increased as it went on. I really liked the theme or concept of Hypochondriac. During my first listen, I thought it was just a mix of braggadocious rap and some generic emo lyrics. After listening again and some research, I learned that it's about ego loss. Brakence begins at a high level of narcissism, but as the LP progresses, his ego dies. This is one of the main symptoms of I don't know if I can say this on YouTube, but that one type of medicine that makes you see things that aren't there, you know? Yeah, ego death is a big part of that. I think the gradual character shift is such a good idea, and it's executed very well, especially considering that sonically it straight up sounds like a trip. I still think that Brakence's lyrics have a good amount of cringe, but at least there's some creativity and artistic choices behind them. Yeah, the instrumentals are unique, crazy, and enjoyable. My main criticism is the lyrics and vocals, which have both grown on me after the course of more listens. In fact, every time I listen, this album gets better in my opinion. So while Hypochondriac is nowhere near a perfect album, Brakence masters a specific feeling and theme with it. It's definitely not for everyone, but I'd give it a 4. I'll 100% give emo and glitch type sounds more of a chance in the future. Once again, thanks for the recommendation.
Y'all don't want it with deck, you know anything I drop will never fall short of respect.
Alex recommended me this. Thanks, Alex. When I first saw this, I was like, what is this MF Doom clone? And yeah, it's a lot like what Doom did on Food. In fact, Doom actually features on here. He appears later on the album, and it was so insane to be listening to it and then Doom showing up. The problem with CZARFACE is that it does draw a comparison to Food and Mad Villainy, and when that happens, it doesn't fare well because those are much better projects. Oh yeah, I should make it clear that CZARFACE is a trio consisting of a Wu-Tang member, Inspected Deck, and 2 guys I've never heard of. One produces and the other raps. While every hero is not as good as the Doom projects it seems like it's trying to imitate, it's still a solid album. And compared to Doom, the production and lyrics are different. It's just the theme of a supervillain that makes me think of it. Okay, I've spent a lot of time talking about Doom here, I gotta get to the album. The vocals are solid. The 2 rappers plus the features, they're good. They're experienced, they know what they're doing. Most of them are actually veterans from the 90s. CZARFACE is really going for that 90s boom bap vibe, so these rappers are basically doing exactly what they did in the 90s, except with like a reference to Reddit here or there. The production is also very much a 90s boom bap style, but it's not to say it's straight up not trying to do anything else. I think it innovates on the genre slightly. I especially enjoy like the distorted guitar beats. A lot of them are pretty minimal, but they generally sound clean and the rappers know what they're doing over them. After listening more, I can't say the beats set it apart from albums of its kind. Retaining that boom bap style while bringing in new things ends up working wonders. This sets out to do something not too ambitious, and it succeeds. I want to compare it to Food because of their thematic similarities, but it's not really fair to every hero. When you listen to it just for enjoyment, it's fun. The features are all good, the beats are consistently fun, and the guys know what they're doing over them. All of this makes it what you want in a boom bap themed style hip-hop record. If you enjoy Doom, you'll probably like this. If you enjoy Wu-Tang and or 90s boom bap, you'll probably like this. It just won't blow you away. 3 stars. Alright, my friend is a big 1975 fan, and he recommended them to me. I don't remember which one he said to listen to first, but I think he mentioned this one, so I decided to listen to their newest one. And let me say, I don't really get the appeal. I see that a lot of people like this album, and I just don't get it. People say it's kinda campy or cheesy, but it's saying something profound about love, and even if it is true, I just can't get past the sound. I don't like how it sounds. I like it a lot when bands use more instruments than what's expected of a typical rock band, but my first experience with this was Black Country New Road, which does it much better than this. The multi-instrumental sounds just don't make it any better to me. It's also muddy. I don't know how else to put it. The vocals are the same to me. They don't stand out. They're just bland. The entire sound is just uninteresting to me. I thought that this would be something I'd like, but I just don't. I just found it boring. Maybe if I tried it again, I might be able to appreciate it more, but to me, it's just not an appealing sound. It's not terrible, even though I've probably made it out to sound that way. If you find enjoyment in this, that's great. I just don't get this. I didn't hate it. I was just really bored. 2 stars. So out of nowhere, my friend sent me this album and said review this. I don't know if it was a joke, but I listened. It was released in 1990, but I think it's just like an interpretation of traditional Russian folk music. Here's the thing, I can't find much information about this. There's no Wikipedia page. It has 1 rating on Rate Your Music, no ratings on All Music. I have no clue how my friend found this. What I do know is, I really should have looked up the pronunciation. It's a balalaika. Okay, I'm gonna quick Google it. Balalaika. is how it's pronounced. What I do know is that it's a balalaika ensemble. A balalaika is a Russian stringed instrument. That's the main instrument I can hear throughout the album. There's no vocals either. I recognize like some melodies. It honestly sounds like it's from The Godfather, which literally makes no sense because it's Russian. The one thing that was near the end that I was like, holy shit, was Russian medley number 2. It's the Tetris song. It's the Tetris song, but on an instrument that looks like this. So what do I say about this? I mean, it kind of sounds cool. It kind of goes hard. I have a difficult time comparing this to anything else I've heard. It's just folk music played with mainly one instrument. I don't know. Do I recommend this? I mean, sure, if you want. I'd rate this a... Damn, this goes hard. Prog rock / whatever you want to call this was introduced to me by Black Country New Road. Then I listened to In the Court of the Crimson King, which I also liked, but despised Moonchild. I guess Elephant Gym is more math rock than prog rock, but I don't really know the difference. They're a group originating from China and don't seem like they've reached a lot of popularity. I got this recommended by my friend Alan, and it sounds amazing. It's only 15 minutes long, and it's such a wonderful 15 minutes. It's rock without much format or direction, and I've opened up to this style more recently, but something about Elephant Gym is that it's really chill. It's not loud like other prog rock. It's nice and cool. If like 21st century Schizoid Man is like a waterfall, Work is a calming little stream falling into the creek. It's still without form, but it's much less harsh with that formlessness. That doesn't make any sense. I'd highly recommend it, considering the fact that this doesn't seem like a very popular band. If you like prog rock or math rock or art rock or whatever, you have to listen to this. It's only 15 minutes, it's not a commitment, and it's such just an enjoyable EP despite its lack of traditional musical boundaries and required format. I am so excited to explore more of Elephant Gym's discography. It's hard to rate this the same as the other albums because it's around a quarter of the length, but for what it is, I have to give it 4 stars. I was recommended this by my friend Jay, though the guy who sent me the Russian one was obsessed with Aurora for a while. I feel like this album is the definition of not for me. A lot of people like this, and I see why, but it just doesn't do anything for me. Aurora is a talented singer, and she has a lot to say in this album. She's a good songwriter. It Happened Quiet is a song about a serious subject U2 doesn't like, and it's covered really beautifully, but sonically, I just don't care for it. It's a blend of different genres, but each song still sounds the same to me. I really appreciate Aurora as an artist, but I'm just not as emotionally moved as I feel like I have to be by her music. Maybe I'm soulless. I don't know. If you like music like singer-songwriter, ballad, emotional type music, you'll probably like this, but I was just indifferent to this one. Alright everyone, that's all the albums I listened to. What did I learn? Going outside your comfort zone is good. Sometimes you find something new you wouldn't expect to love. Sometimes you find something that's just unimpressive to you. It's good to pick stuff you know you'll probably like, but every once in a while, you should try new stuff. I like to emphasize that I love getting recommendations, and I don't want my criticism of the albums here to discourage anyone to share their favorites or stuff they like. You have the right to love what you love. It makes me so happy to see all the comments sharing recommendations, whether it's music I'll like or not. So please keep giving me recommendations. I'll definitely do something like this in the future again, assuming you guys give me more stuff. If this is the first video you've seen of mine, I've got a couple other videos like this you'll probably enjoy. Subscribe for more stuff like this and some more music commentary I have planned. Really, my goal with this channel is to build up a community of people who just like music. I don't want to make this a super negative or pretentious place like other music commentary on the internet. I just want people to feel free to share music they love for others, whether they will like it or not. The algorithm sometimes forgets to recommend my videos. It forgot last time, so if you liked it enough, sharing this with your friends would help me out greatly. That's it. Thanks for making it to the end. Bye.